Okay, we're continuing to look at workflow and file organization for our editing projects, and we're moving on from the master folder system, which we just looked at. And now we're going to step into Premiere and create a project file that's going to live in that master folder system. So just a quick review, Premiere Edit Projects, I'm working off of this big master folder in my Shumway hard drive. And inside that, we're in the year 2015. This happens to be in July 2015, month 07. It's this book signing. Remember, I just copied all the raw footage into my video imports. There they are. So what I'm going to do is when I open Premiere in a moment, I'm going to tell Premiere to put my project file, can you guess where? How about that 001 folder? Project files, exactly. That's where Premiere is going to put my project. It's like the master home page of your Premiere project. So everything, again, will stay connected in this folder system. Got it? All right, so let's step out and we'll see how that works. Close that, bring up Premiere, and I've sort of jumped past the main artsy-fartsy splash screen into this little box that you'll see opening up, and I can start a new project, or I can open a recent project. I've got all these other previous ones. It'll show you, I think, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 10 that you opened on that workstation, whatever computer you're using. Let's do a brand new one, okay? Going to do a new project. There's the little box that opens up. We're going to call it book signing, right? I have to make sure I don't type book singing. So book signing, good. Now here's the key where it says location. This is where on my hard drive I'm going to tell the project file to go. So Premiere's going to put it there. Let's browse. Okay. So let's go back to I'm going to step back. See my Premiere Edit projects. Let's all go all the way back to my drive. This is my hard drive, my Shumway 5560. In Premiere Edit projects, remember where we're going? 2015, July, book signing. And inside the 001 folder, that's where we're going to put the project. So I'm going to step out and say, it's way down at the bottom. Do you see where it says choose right there? I'm going to hit choose. And that's where that project is going to go. So Adobe is going to save my master project file there. At this point, I don't need to worry about these other sections on the display. They have drop-down boxes. There's really nothing to check on those. Let's just go right past that and hit OK. So now Premiere is going to open up my workspace. So I have a workspace all set up for this project, the book signing. If you notice, way up here in the upper left, project is called book signing. There we go. That's my big sort of master project file, this PRP ROJ, Premiere Pro Project. Now remember in the previous video, I said it's very important to stay organized outside the editing application, which is what we did with our master folder on the hard drive. And it's important, crucially important, to stay organized within the editing application. That's where we are now, inside the Premiere Pro interface. So we want to stay organized here. And I know for the story I'm working on, I'm going to have all kinds of footage. I'm going to have B-roll footage. I will also have sound bites or SOTs. I will have a voiceover track and maybe some graphics for lower thirds or full screens. I don't want to stick all those in the same big bin or the same folder in Premiere. I'd rather break those apart. So just like our master folder has, video and graphics, I'm going to do that here. I'm going to create what we call bins. It really looks like a folder. You click that little folder icon, it says new bin, and I'm going to create one for B-roll. Boom. And let's just do another one. I can right click in there to do a new bin, and we'll call that SOTs. Another one, and that's going to be graphics. And one more for voiceover. It just takes a second, right? You think this eats up time? It doesn't. This will save you time in the long run. Once you organize your project, then I just go into the B-roll bin, open that one up. Now I just have a folder for all my B-roll footage. And then I don't get these things mixed up. I want the B-roll separate from the voiceover track, separate from the graphics, and then the interview clips, the sound bites. I'm going to make one more bin, and I'm going to call this sequences too. Always important to have my sequences in their own bin as well. Those are the things I edit in the timeline, the actual sequence of clips that I'll string together into the package. Okay, so time to import some B-roll. And where I go to import is this media browser down here, because it connects to all those hard drives and servers that are on my network. They're all listed here. So what I want to do is prepare the B-roll bin, which is this one. So I click on it. It's the active bin, right? So now I go into my media browser, and once I do, I'll tell it to import all that camera footage. that I put on my hard drive and put it into the B-roll bin. So let's do that now. We'll go to the Shumway 5560 drive, Premiere Edit Projects. Now you notice this all looks kind of tiny down here in the lower left. Wouldn't it be great if we could show this whole media browser, this whole window, full screen? Well, guess what? We can. There's a key on the keyboard just under the escape key. It's the little curvy tilde or the accent grave, if you're familiar with French. Tap that key. And now we open that one window, full screen. There it goes. And again. Isn't that groovy? So you can also hover. Whatever you put the mouse over, it'll open that window full screen when you tap the key. There's the timeline full screen. And I just hit the key again and it disappears. So media browser is what we want. Let's bring it up. We're going into 2015 on my Shumway drive. Remember, July, book signing, and it was in our video imports. It's raw camera footage, has not been converted. One of the nice things, of the many nice things about the media browser is when I get into a particular folder on one of my drives, I can look at these as a little list of items, or I can hit the icon view, and this is great because it allows me to see at least a preview clip of all that footage. So this is all the stuff I brought in from the book signing, put it on my hard drive. So I can hover over these clips. I can even just click on one of them and play it. Oh, that's her getting a card swipe. Somebody bought one of the books. Okay, I might want to use that later. And I can go through all the other ones. Let me swap back to the list view for a quick second. So let's say I want to import all of these clips that came from the camera. So let's just do this. Let's Command A. That's a good keyboard shortcut. If I want everything, I could just pick half of them. Maybe the first 10 are the ones I want. But if I want them all, just do a Command A. It grabs everything. And then Option Command I. Watch this. It imports everything in the media browser that I had selected. That was a quick way to do it. It's better than picking one clip, right-clicking and saying import, click another clip, or shift-clicking a bunch and then right-clicking import. Yeah, I could do that if I just want a section of them. But if I want them all, the fastest way is Command A, highlights all of them, and then Option Command I throws them all into whatever open bin I had left behind. So let's hit our magic key again. So we don't want this full screen anymore, the tilde or accent grave. Aha, we're back to the editing application, and there are, in our B-roll bin, remember we have the book signing project, and we have all those bins. There's the B-roll bin there. I can look at it that way with all the other bins, or just go right to it by double-clicking, and then B-roll opens by itself. So these are all now imported, so I can double-click, queue it up into the source monitor, pick another one. Here's somebody talking here at the signing. Good, okay. So I have all these clips ready in my B-roll bin, and they're all sort of nested within that larger project. So if I had a bunch of clips that were also my sound bites, I would just put those in the SOT bin. My graphics for imports, I know I'm going to do lower thirds, so watch this. Let's double-click graphics. That's open. Back to the media browser. Hit the magic key. Go back to July 2015. And in my graphic imports, I already have the template for lower thirds. I'm going to use animated lower thirds. Let's get both of them. And let's import those. Now those are going to go into my graphics bin. Hit the tilde again. And now we're back seeing some of my graphics bin. I've already got the templates for lower thirds when I put people's names on the screen. So I've got all that stuff organized within Premiere, and it just took seconds to create these bins and to start stacking them with my content. So again, you use the master folder system on your hard drive, then you bring in material from the hard drive into Premiere, and then you're cooking, you're editing, you're efficient, and you're organized. And I tell you, this will truly, truly save you a lot of time and prevent a lot of frustration.